So good evening. On behalf of the Focolare movement, I would like to welcome you to this very special event, Politics for Unity, Making a World of Difference. My name is Rosanna Furgiueli, and I will be the MC this evening. As Associate Dean of Glendon College, I am delighted to welcome you to the bilingual faculty of York University. This event draws on the values of the Focolare movement, founded by Chiara Lubich. In 1966, Chiara was the UNESCO Prize winner for Peace Education, as well as the recipient of the Council of Europe Prize for Human Rights in 1998. Chiara also founded the Movement of Politics and Policy for Unity to contribute to the regeneration of political action, its foundations, and its objectives. Each of us can make a difference, no matter how small. We can all be agents of change wherever we are. We are honored to have with us this evening some very special guests who have a profound commitment to public service and who will be part of a panel to discuss the role that politics can play in establishing the common good. We will begin our program this evening with opening remarks by Julie Moon and Jacques Maillet, who will speak on behalf of the Focolare movement.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. It's my pleasure to be able to address this wonderful audience. I would like to just draw your attention a bit on the roots and the origin of Chiara Lubich. This ideal that Chiara had received was a charism, a particular gift. This charism made her realize that her vision extended far beyond the city of Trent. Chiara never separated spiritual from social issues. During and after the Second World War, in her ravaged Trent, Chiara and her friends started working for the needy. People were attracted by their life, and in a short time span, a community was formed around them. In 1991, the Economy of Communion project began, an undertaking to find solutions to the problem of poverty in Brazil and beyond, and to work for an economy that does not alienate human beings, but fulfills them.
Chiara Lubich's connection with politics started from the very beginning of the history of the Focolare movement. In 1996, at a time when Naples was plagued by problems related to mafia, Chiara Lubich met with a group of politicians and founded the Movement for Politics and Policy for Unity. Its goals are to develop an approach to politics grounded in what is essentially a spiritual and widely shared idea, unity. And secondly, to affirm the principle of brotherhood in every way. Maria Voce, the president of the Focolare movement, sent a message to the participants in the different international events, and I'd like to share with you a part of her message. We discover politics as a lofty vocation that widens up one's heart to all people, those most in need and alone, those in serious difficulties or marginalized, not only of one's own country, but of humanity.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of the Focolare movement, honored guests, and friends. If the world were to be different today, what would that look like? So 2 days ago, when I was reading the Globe and Mail, our beloved Canadian John Vanier received the 2015 Templeton Prize. And his words saying, "Our world is evolving so rapidly and is at a crisis point today. We either move toward a deeper unity among all people with openness, mutual respect, and fraternity, or the divisions between us will turn into terrible forces of hate and fear. And this is why, on behalf of the Youth for a United World, I'm here to present the United World Project, our international initiative. So 18 months ago, my friend from Australia was organizing a fundraiser in solidarity with the survivors of Typhoon Haiyan. Thanks to social media, I was made aware of this project and was inspired to do the same in Toronto. So my friends and I, with the Youth for a United World, organized a fundraiser at Hard Rock Cafe. The extent of our impact was truly amazing because of the diversity of people that came together. And this is the difference we want to make, to build a world more united, enriched by our difference. So now, take out your phone or keep it out, just share a quote, snap a picture, and hashtag politics for unity to make a difference. Thank you.
So I'll go to Natalie just to have the women power before we get to Michael.
The man gets the last word.
All right. But in the same time that everything I was saying was true and genuinely presented, I wanted to show my utmost respect to everybody without pointing out what did not go right, but I wanted to focus my energy on enabling a road forward. When I sent the letter, I knew that we may not agree of what needs to be done, but I also knew that I have to take this chance to bring us a little bit more closer. And to my surprise, an answer came back. It was very positive.
Here I am at City Hall, and very fierce battles with respect to various issues. And I never thought about this particular question that's before us. I would just do my thing based upon whether I felt it was wrong or right, and to me it didn't matter whether it was somebody from the left or the right or somebody from the mushy middle who would make various motions, etc. And so I was there for 11 years, and I felt alone. Because there wasn't a celebration of people with faith. Faith never came into it, although that's what drove me. And so I would deal with each issue, one issue at a time, and on some of the issues of the environment, etc., I was more left than the left. On other things in terms of social, financial responsibility, etc., I was to the right. So again, it depended on the item, driven by the question at hand. So I don't think it really got home to me. So here's a testimony that I have. I announced that I was leaving after 11 years, and I said, "That's it. I've had enough. Time to go." Got atrial fibrillation, had a heart attack, and said to God, I said, "What the heck are you doing with me? Like, leave me alone. Like, give me a break. I need something easier, you know? Like, let me go back to the school board." You know, $50 million later, walking into the school board. But the one thing that was really moving, because you really can't judge this question by itself. I had made the announcement, and we called her Pammy. Pam McConnell came up to me, and she leaned over my desk, and she said, "Michael," she said, "would you reconsider staying and not leaving?" And I thought to myself, of all the people in the world, you know, the lefty telling me, you know, it'd be great, leave, you know, goodbye, you know, you've been a pain in our side. And she said, "No, you know, I'd really like you, you know, would you stay? Would you please consider staying?" And I'm in sort of like in the huddle. I'm in the middle of all the left on council, because I got Gord Perks behind me and Shelley Carroll over here and Janet Davis over there. And they basically all said the same thing. You know, after Pam had talked to me about staying, and I said, "Pam," I said, "you know, like, I haven't made a difference here, you know, like." And she turned to me, she says, "No, Michael," she said, "when you speak sincerely, and people really do listen to what you have to say." And, you know, it just hit me for the first time. These people were listening to what I said? Like, all of a sudden, you know, I thought, my God, here I'm thinking I ain't making much of a difference on anything. And the political opponents were saying to me, and right after she had finished, Gord Perks said, you know, "Stay, we'll pay you to stay," and the like. And I thought, you know, when I reflect on this question about how you handle a conflict of ideas, is basically be true to yourself and do the things that you believe are true, that you believe are right, that you will follow through. You lose the vote, but your belief is still your belief. You don't sell yourself for a cheap vote, and you don't sell yourself simply because it's expedient to do so. So I would say, in terms of this question, a little bit different than my colleagues here, is those conflicts are going to be resolved by you being you, and by you being the best person that you can be, regardless of what your political persuasion is.
Thank you.
Two questions I asked myself were, can I win and should I win? The can I win, and I was a little over-optimistic, I think, on that one, but the can I win, I didn't think I would have a problem. I had a very large community profile. We had worked very hard to start a church of the poor, not for the poor or at the poor, but of the poor, and it gained a lot of attention in my writing. So I thought I could win, but the question that I wrestled with was, should I win? And the only reasonable answer, it seemed to me, to that question was that I had to do it for those that I served in the church, and those were the most marginalized in our community, those who lived rough. I knew what it was to live rough. I left home at 15. I was a street-involved youth. I lived on the street when I was very young and came from a very abusive and violent home. And so I knew the backgrounds of the children, many of the children that we were working with, and I hoped to make a difference to poverty. So that was what inspired me to run, ultimately. I think what I discovered when I got to Queen's Park was that even more important than poverty of the body, material poverty, is poverty of the spirit. And really I see that God had intended me to be a sort of chaplain there. That never occurred to me when I considered running, but not to set myself above anyone, just to serve, again, those that walk in the door. But yes, chaplaincy exists everywhere, even in politics.
So the question is if Kiara LaRouche's words really reflect my vision of the community, and I would say that many of them do resonate with me. She speaks of fraternity or brotherhood, if you will, and I think that's very important. It's at the base of dignity for every human being, as someone else has said. And yes, we speak about rich countries, we speak about poor countries, but we can speak also about a rich city in a poor neighborhood. We don't have to go far to see imbalances that we can work hard to improve. So to me, it's about being involved in everyday life.
I dream of relationships, not only among individuals, but also among groups, movements, religious and secular associations, among peoples and among states, so that it becomes logical to love another's country as one's own. I dream that the many cultures of the world will come together to enrich each other. From this, a world culture will arise that will emphasize values which have always been the true riches of individual peoples. As a result, from these values, a global wisdom will emerge. I dream of a world united in a variety of peoples. I dream a great deal, but we have a millennium to see it fulfilled.